I've never finished drywall before, and this room is about to show every mistake I make. Today I'm taping, mudding, and sanding, and learning the hard way why people hate drywall.
Did see that, yeah.
And that's it.
This is part 3 of the basement bedroom remodel, and this is officially my first time finishing drywall. No shortcuts, no pretending I know what I'm doing. Just learning as I go and trying to get these walls smooth enough that nobody notices.
Yeah, it's getting a little dusty in here.
Everything starts with tape. Flat seams, inside corners, outside corners. All of it. I'm embedding the tape with joint compound and trying not to leave too much mud underneath. I learned that drywall finishing is about balance. Every pass matters, and fixing mistakes later takes twice as long. I also learned pretty quickly that drywall tape doesn't hide mistakes. It actually shows them. If the tape isn't tight and properly embedded, the seam will crack later, and bubbles don't fix themselves. If you leave them, they will show up every single time. I learned that the mud under the tape matters more than the mud on the tape. Too much mud causes bubbles instead of strength, and pressing harder with a knife doesn't help. It just pulls the tape back up. Thinner mud made it easier to get the tape to lay flat. Learning that letting the tape dry fully actually saves time later. Sanding too early just tears the tape and creates more work. A lot of this process is just waiting. Then comes sanding, and wow, I did not realize how much dust drywall creates. I learned pretty fast that sanding is where drywall either comes together or completely falls apart. You don't really see your mistakes until the dust starts flying, and once you do, there's no hiding them anymore. Everything was covered. Me, the floor, the lights, everything. This first coat is all about coverage, not perfection. I'm just trying to lock the tape in and get everything filled. I learned that a wider knife hides the seams better than the narrow ones. The angle of the knife matters more than the pressure, and wiping the knife clean every pass keeps the lines from building up. Small habits made a big difference in how smooth things turned out. If it looks ugly right now, that's normal. At least that's what I keep telling myself. Trust me, this part looks bad before it gets better. After the first coat, I learned sanding isn't about making it perfect. It's just about knocking things down. I focused on the high spots, ridges from the knife, and cleaning up the edges without getting to the tape. This was also when I hooked my sander up to a HEPA vacuum, which made a huge difference in controlling dust and actually seeing what I'm doing. The second coat is where things start to make sense. Wider passes, thinner mud, fewer ridges. I'm feathering the edges and trying to let the knife do the work instead of me fighting it. Right here is where I stopped rushing, and the finish got way better. Drywall finishing is more about feel than force. Every seam teaches you something new, and you don't really know what smooth means until you mess it up and have to fix it. I also learned that the inside corners take about twice as long as the flat seams. Trying to rush both sides at once just made things worse. Letting one side dry before touching the other made a huge difference, and every rushed corner looked exactly like it was rushed. But I end up learning later to actually do both sides just by taking my time with the knife. Corners were easily the hardest part. Inside corners, outside corners, every one of them showed my mistakes. These take time, light coats, and more sanding than I expected. This final coat is all about touch-ups, filling low spots, smoothing ridges, and fixing things that I missed the first 2 times. This is where the wall actually starts to look finished. For my first time finishing drywall, I'm honestly happy with how it turned out. It's not perfect, but it's solid, smooth, and ready for paint.
You got the rest?
Here's what I learned the hard way. Thinner coats are always better. Wider knives make smoother walls. Sanding between coats matters. And drywall finishing is 90% patience.
I'm not a drywall finisher.
This room went from an ugly drop ceiling to fully finished drywall. And this was the hardest part of the whole remodel so far. If you're learning drywall for the first time too, stick around. Part 4 is painting and finishing the room. Thanks for watching.
West side, front chicks. West side, front chicks.